Hi, so here I have 6 small to medium sized red potatoes that I pre-washed and then I cut into chunks. I had it sitting in water with a little bit of salt as I was cutting the potatoes so that they don't turn color. Here in my pot I have cold water and salted to taste. It's important that when you put the potatoes to the pot, the water should be cold first and then let it get to a boil because you want the potatoes to cook evenly. If you throw the potatoes into hot boiling water, it never fails. You usually have some potatoes that are not cooking at the same time. So you want them to cook evenly. So let's go ahead and drain our potatoes and put it in the pot. So I've set my dial on a 5 and I'm gonna go ahead and slowly put the potatoes in. It's your choice whether you want to use red potatoes, regular Idaho potatoes, and you peel the skin off, or you can use what they called golden or yellow potatoes. It's up to you, and leaving the skin on or off. I personally like the red potatoes with the skin. There's nothing wrong with eating the skin of the potato, but it's totally up to you. So we're going to cook this on a 5. Once the water comes to a boil, that's when you start counting 15 to 20 minutes, checking on the potatoes. You should be able to stick a fork through, and that's how you know that they're tender. Hi. So as soon as I saw my water starting to come up to a boil, I moved the dial up to a 6. I scooped out any kind of like little residue that arose to the top surface of the potatoes. You want to make sure that you start counting down to your 15 minutes. Check that it's fork tender, and if it's not, then cook it another extra to 3 to 5 minutes. Basically the last 10 minutes of your cooking, I go ahead and I add my eggs. So I'm adding 3 eggs, and I do cook it with the potatoes. You're already boiling the water. Why cook the eggs separately, right? So it's almost like the eggs and the potatoes will be finishing off right at the same time after your 15 minutes. Again, if your potatoes are not fork tender, then cook it another extra 3 minutes, and then we'll be back. While this is almost finishing, you want to go ahead and wash, peel, and shred 1 carrot. You also need a half of a small onion, finely chopped. You're also going to need a handful of fresh cilantro and 1 teaspoon of paprika. We'll be back. It's been exactly 15 minutes. I'm going to check to see if it's fork tender, and it is. Just put it through. So go ahead and turn the stove off, drain your potatoes, and then allow it to cool it off, and allow the eggs to cool off. Once you have everything ready to prepare, you want to obviously take the shell off the eggs, and what I basically do is I cut them in slices right into the potato mixture, but I'll show you that when we come back. So I allowed the potatoes to cool down for at least 30 minutes, and then I went ahead and started unshelling my eggs and slicing them. So basically what I do is I cut the long way and just kind of like let it drop in. This will all kind of break apart anyway once you start folding in everything. Here you have your half small onion already chopped. So I kind of spread that around so it gets kind of to the bottom as well, because I wanted to make sure that it does get to the bottom. Here is my 1 carrot shredded. I'm gonna go ahead and add, this is basically 1 tablespoon of fresh cilantro that I chopped down. So I just want to make sure. Okay. Now this is optional. I do like to add sweet pickles to my potato salad. You don't have to if you're not a pickle fan, but I like to add it. And I'm just doing 1 tablespoon. Just spiraling around. Actually, I'll add another, just for good measure. Like I said, I like it. So that's 2 tablespoons actually that I've added. And so now I'm going to take my 1/2 cup of mayonnaise that I've spooned into my measuring. Now I'm going to go ahead and kind of plop it around. I like to use like a soft spatula to fold this in because I don't want my potatoes to get mushy. So you definitely want to like fold it in. So you're just going from the bottom and turning it in. Going from the bottom and turning it in. If you feel that you want to add a little bit more mayonnaise, that's totally fine, but the thing is you don't want it to be to the point where it's like really mushy with a lot of mayonnaise. So it's like you want to just basically coat it. So I start off with 1/2 of a cup first because I want to make sure that and some people like to add apples. That's totally on you. Some people like to add olives with the peppers. Again, that's just a liking of, you know, whether you like to add that or not to it. I personally do not add olives to my potato salad. And I'm actually going to add another 1/2 cup of mayonnaise. I'm used to usually making a smaller batch, which is why I only start and end with a 1/2 cup of mayonnaise. But because this is bigger, I have to definitely put at least 2 1/2 cups, you know, of mayonnaise to it. And you can make this potato salad smaller, just utilizing 3 potatoes instead of 6. And you know, 1 egg, and kind of minimizing all of the ingredients that are being incorporated. So you're basically, you know, using 1/2 of everything if you're going to make a smaller potato salad, like for yourself and maybe 2 more people. So I'm going to continue folding this over. And the last thing that I usually put is 1 teaspoon of paprika. I sprinkle that in. Again, that's totally up to you. Your potato salad should definitely sit in the refrigerator for at least an hour before serving, because nobody wants to eat room temperature potato salad. But once it's been in the fridge, it binds it and it kind of meshes the flavor together. And also you can add vinegar to it if you like. I'm gonna go ahead and taste it just for the flavor. Get some, just see where it's at with the flavor. The potato salad is on point. And if I didn't mention before, with the water, when you went to boil the potatoes, I did 3 rounds lightly of salt, plus a little bit of salt in the water where it was sitting in. So that was enough, and I did taste the potatoes, and the potatoes did have flavor to it, so you don't need to add any more to this. I'm gonna go ahead and refrigerate this again for an hour, and then we'll be back. So here's your final dish, ensalada de papa, potato salad. I'm gonna go ahead and plate it, but I just wanted to show you how pretty it looked. Go ahead and taste it. This potato salad is delicious. I hope you enjoy this recipe as much as I do. Happy cooking!